As we research the xenomorph species and its subvariants, we come across strains that fascinate us more for their totally unexpected adaptations than their battle prowess. Today's subject is an alien that's only ever been encountered once, and that is on the homeworld of the xenomorphs, called Xenomorph Prime. This variant has been given the name the Cougar Xenomorph. It's believed the colonial marine that encountered this alien saw how it moved and was struck by the similarities to that of a large cat, or in this case, a cougar. To even try and explain how this variant of a xenomorph was formed, we must talk a little bit about the xenomorph homeworld, Xenomorph Prime. This world is located in, and is, at first glance, a harsh, barren world. As you approach this world, there's one feature that you'll notice. It's this feature that strikes fear into the heart of all those who dare to approach this world. This feature is alien hives. It's believed there are possibly millions of hives spread across the whole world, with many of them appearing to be that of the main common strain of xenomorph. However, there are some that are different. A good example of this is the red xenomorph variant. This was a species that was evolved after one hive queen died, and two ended up trying to take her place. The destruction of the red xenomorph hive by the standardized strain was actually assisted by an exploration team attempting to harvest royal jelly. Needless to say, their assistance was nuclear in nature. The red xenomorph species was completely wiped out, which is a pity as they were a very interesting subvariant. It would have been interesting to study them and find out if there was more than just colour differences. Xenomorph Prime is a large world, not too dissimilar to Earth in size. There have been many different kinds of xenomorph encountered here that have been unique to this world. The Cougar Xenomorph is one of them. The source of this DNA in these variants is believed to come from the ancient times of Xenomorph Prime. It's believed that Xenomorph Prime may have looked very similar to that of ancient Earth. It is this similarity and the parasitic nature of the xenomorph species, or at least the original one that spawned in the lush jungles of Xenomorph Prime, that spawned and filtered out the DNA, and as a result, we have the current iteration of the alien species. This has also resulted in many different subvariants, each with a specialization, and each with adaptations that give them an advantage over the others. This is quite a remarkable thing given how presumably ancient this species is. Now, I think it's time we covered a working theory about the Cougar alien and its very odd adaptation. As we know, the xenomorph strains take on DNA traits from its host. This allows it to adapt to its environment quicker, and if there are traits that will give it an advantage in surviving, then it will often take them as well. Our research has shown that if the traits are strong enough, and will help the race survive in general, they will be integrated into the baseline DNA of the race, and passed down the genetic line from that point onwards. Hence, this is the reason why some hives have smasher aliens, and spitter aliens, and some are just filled with regular drones. This is applied to the Cougar alien, whose adaptation makes it unique, as it's not only a quadrupedal xenomorph, but it also carries a small version of itself on its back, much like a parasite, which it can fling at extremely high speeds at its prey. This is to disable them for food or for cocooning for a hive. It's also possible that this odd adaptation is in fact a mutation from a recessive or failed gene line. This theory is plausible given that there hasn't been any queens or hives encountered that are related to this particular variant outside of the drones that the colonial marines have encountered. It is the uncertainty of the origin of this particular species and the many other unique variants of Xenomorph that has us at Weyland-Yutani R&D inspired to double down, commit to further research and additional expeditions to Xenomorph Prime and experimentations to discover the origins of the recessive genetic lines. Thank you for reviewing this briefing. As always, this briefing is classified and can be accessed at your leisure by subscribing to Weyland-Yutani R&D. This has been Weyland-Yutani R&D, signing out.